Emmy is here. Okay, never fucking mind. It doesn't matter because we're all here, and that means it's time for Spoopy Kingmaker. Yes, Chewy.
Choose bowl of water.
Actually, it's a mason jar. Like I'm drinking vodka again, but I'm not. It's water.
Good for you. Anyway, to jump into it, thank you all for your support. Y'all are super wonderful. We're all super behind. I may or may not have been a little sick starting out the session, so that's fun. But last time we went to Yatiel's house and we met Yatiel's friends and we hung out and met more of Ross's family, as basically all of Spoopy Kingmaker has been. So we'll send it over to Ross first for the in-character reflection for his hero point. Ross, you have the floor.
Look, it's not my fault that I took the familial ties drawback, and you were like, "Oh, I want you guys to have good NRP reasons for having these drawbacks." And it doesn't also my fault that you've been using my character's backstory as like your NPC list.
You gave me 7.
I know, but you're mocking me for giving you 7. I did you a favor.
You did. You're not wrong.
I'm working on at least having 5 for 4 done.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have the floor. Take it.
Fine, but I'm gonna need like a pretty big crowbar to get the floor up. But yes, I am Vinsal Jimerson. I am the human druid of the group, and I am the local boy, if you will, as everybody's come to know me. I have family and friends all throughout the Stolen Lands, as these are the lands that I grew up in, mostly in the Gnarl Marshes. And I have never met nor interacted much with the Uruxi. I knew of a few of their tribes, and I never wanted to, or wanted to is not the right word. I never sought to engage with them, knowing their customs and their cultural isolation and desires. And from what I learned of my teacher, and from what few encounters I did have when occasionally a trader or two of their kin would come through, was you did not go to seek their counsel. They sought you, or you just happened to bump into each other. Either way, it seems as though now we find ourselves in the heartlands of the Uruxi city, and I happen to run into none other than one of my brother-in-laws. So that has been a very comforting, at the very least, a comforting knowledge to see he is safe and to hear my sister is safe. Also, I have a pet dog named Smiles. I named him Smiles because he has an amazing smile, and he is the life of the party.
I mean, as an animal companion in Pathfinder 1st Edition /3.5, he literally is. But fair enough, good friend, hero point is yours. And now we send it to the man who, from time to time, will invite me to random leftist Facebook groups. And they're always like way out of left field, pun not intended. And then I go scrolling for 30 minutes, catching up on memes. Oh, Jeff.
That's what I'm here for. The memes of production belong to us all. Fucking flip side of that, I bring to you Devin Devereaux Dubois, the bougiest bougie to have ever bougied, and is pretty and is human and is magical and is chosen by a god and is better than the rest of you poor people. But little do we all know that he has a hurt and damage and tragic background of abandonment and loss issues. And it's like if Scrooge McDuck had a soul.
It was also definitely, I probably said this on some recording, but when Jeff comes to the table with this character, it's very jarring. But good. Yeah. I usually ask for more like, last session this happened. How is your character feeling about it? Behind your eyes kind of thing.
I'm sorry, I always forget that shit. Yeah, we're going to see lizard people, and Yahtzee is going to bring more human fodder for us to throw up against the undead, for me to like stand behind and stay safe and direct from afar and take loads of glory, and the stolen lands will know my name.
A lot of assumptions there.
Welcome to Class is Not Racist.
What are they, if not to, or at least bring you along?
Good enough. And now we send it to the... I keep trying to have something cool for all the characters. I'm like, now it's your turn for your in-character, sir. But every time I go to Elric, I just think Big E from Markiplier's Resident Evil 3 playthrough, and I can't escape it.
No.
Good thing
I went to the original E meme. I'm that degenerate.
Oh, good.
Or just think about Big E, the one and only emperor of mankind.
There have been entirely too many Warhammer references in all of my Kingmaker games.
Emperor.
See, I'm gonna learn how to play Warhammer this Sunday, and I should invite you.
I mean,
I'd be all over that too.
See, here is the second channel idea. You wanted Black Dragon Gaming, now have Iron Dragon Gaming, and you do Warhammer. Boom.
Black Dragon Wog!
Black Templar Gaming.
I don't have the money for Warhammer. Sven and I were talking about this morning.
It's tabletop. I'm using tabletop sim.
Oh, dank. Anyway, we should let Elric do his in-character reflection before we ramble for 3 hours. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. I just want folks to get their money's worth.
That's my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, well. I'm playing as Elric von Almar, human wizard. Currently not so wizardy, because after traveling for some time, we met some Iruxi, and they gave us some weird things that we were supposed to eat. Turned out to be some kind of anti-magic field that would temporarily seal our powers, so that they could take away both our magical and weaponry, and for us to, well, be harmless for some time. It's kind of bothering Elric a bit. Like, he has some dirt on his robe, and he reflexively snaps his fingers to make the dirt go away, and just nothing happens. He's feeling a bit like he's missing a limb, but well, it's temporary. At least that's what he's telling himself over and over again. It's like, it's temporary. You can deal with it. It's temporary. It's a bit like a junkie that has been running dry for a bit too long. But thankfully, the Iruxi people and their village are quite interesting. So Eric has something that can distract himself from his need of magic. I feel like a blood elf, addicted to magic.
And now we're actually playing the Warcraft simulator. Fair enough. Hero points for you, buddy. And I can't see OBS. I foolishly made my push to talk button a button that makes my computer divide by 0, so I suck. But also now we send it to the person who was super late, because apparently their air conditioning's not working. And also the person who's doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make Spoopy Kingmaker run better. And for that, Emmy, I am eternally grateful, because it's very helpful. And I know how busy you're, a new mother, and here you are doing a bunch of work for Tommy. And I appreciate it. And how's Tuxie doing?
Well, Tuxie, she's not really sure right now. There's a lot going on. Her magic heat lamp is gone. But she's getting to spend time with the Iruxi. She's fascinated by their culture, but not entirely sure what she thinks of it yet. She doesn't really get all the politics, and she's not too fond of the lack of books and libraries, but there's obviously more than meets the eye, especially if they have another Trays in the Infinite. And that's all I got.
Good enough. The hero point is yours, my friend. And speaking of Trays in the Infinite, the man who's getting new dice in the mail. Oh, Gregor.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sven. I'm playing Gregor Eisenhorn, the Slayer of the group. And yeah, he still can cast, but not magic, just his fist. So it's way stronger than wizards. And I'm just curious about what will happen with the elder of the Iruxi and how this will work out. I have seen how our little kobold is working, and I'm glad that she doesn't have her magical skills and capabilities. So maybe she can't start fights out of the nowhere with the whole race of Iruxi. I'm glad. And yeah, we will see what will happen.
Yeah, it's not exactly why I put an anti-magic field on the party, but it might have played a small role. Anyway, hero point goes to you. Oh, Ragnar. It's I think this is like the third or fourth consecutive session that we've all been together at start time. This is dope.
Woohoo, dope. But yeah, I am playing Ragnar. I am a dwarf. I was a Torag. Class is War Priest, and I feel the same about the Aruxi. Have you the one name we cannot call them, which is easier to say, but they are nice, and they seem dependent on other people, at least to make their tools that's made of steel. Wonder if I can teach them themselves. But that's beside the point. I hope they'll become a great ally in the war against the necromancers. If they do not become an ally, hopefully they become a neutral party, as long as they do not ally against us.
Good enough. Hey, speaking of Aruxi, the man, the myth, we make a lot of scaly jokes about Nick here at the house because he's 2 for 2 in patron games now, being, I'm gonna play a lizard something. Oh, Nick.
Scalies as in like furries, but with reptiles.
No.
Man, that's just cold.
Cold-blooded. Puns make me miss Jason. Anyway.
It's awkward now, haven't I?
Maybe a little bit. That's you. Speaking of you.
That you cut out for a second.
No, I said speaking of you, as in your turn for in-character reflection 4 to hero point.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm not going to try and do the voice because I don't want to destroy my throat right now. So I'm playing as Yatil. He is an Aruxi monk, and he's also the one responsible for bringing this whole haggle of outsiders to the ancestral home of the Aruxi in the Riverlands in Ortholk. And they aren't as bad as he feared they might be. Think he could get along with a couple of them at the very least. He's a little nervous about how his reputation might be perceived now within the rest of Ortholk. Well, yes, he did essentially do what he was asked to begin with, to go with a team to try and investigate what's going on and potentially bring back any allies. He also is responsible for getting that team killed, and now he's brought a whole squad of some very powerful individuals into the city of the Aruxi. And these people are going to try and ask his people to go to war with them. A lot of things can happen from this point on. I have to say that Yatil is maybe a little bit anxious to see what does happen from here.
Alrighty, fair enough. Hero points all around, and we basically are gonna pick it up from right where we left off, having run into your brother-in-law, Vin, and having successfully talked down a Gorthek that was about to do a rampage in a stampede? I don't know why. Stample isn't a word. I didn't say that. Shoosh. Ortholt is your oyster. What do?
Should probably spend some time catching Gnarl up to speed with everything that's been going on. The rest of the party doesn't necessarily need to be there for that if they want to just split up for a moment to talk to other people in the city.
Well, yeah, Teal's not going to let you guys out of his sight, so he'll stick with you guys.
Well, Eric would probably ask Yatil to show him around a bit. Like, for example, do you lizard people have some kind of centralized learning? Putting you on the spot.
Wizards, man.
The elders teach the little ones. What exactly you asking?
Do you have a building is where the elders sit and the children go or something? How does it work? Do you have fixed times where they do that, or is it just the spur of the moment thing? I'm wondering how different cultures handle teaching the young ones differently.
I'm not really sure how to answer this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you're asking if they have an established school and education system,
Yeah.
But Ami, is there anyone that Yatil should probably report to let them know that these outsiders have been brought here, or is Rozu going to handle that?
I mean, at this point, word has kind of gotten out. It's not. There are a lot of strangers in Ortholt right now, and things are abuzz. Ah, man, I'm so good at words. I'm gonna have more water. Certainly, like, there are folks you could go report to, not necessarily like a direct supervisor or superior kind of thing, more so like a letting the council know formally that you've brought folks would be the like I guess a good way to put it would be there's a giant red exclamation point floating over the Council of 16's chambers, indicating that's a main quest.
Okay. Right.
Shiny.
Well, Tuxi is going to try to assess audience biases for the Uruxi. Basically get an idea of, should she fall into a verbal duel, what would give her an edge? What kind of things should she rely on?
I just want to let you know that this has been so much work learning how to use this extra as fuck optional rule system. I don't mind doing it for you, but anybody else, we're gonna fight. Is there some kind of, you probably know the system a little better than me? Is there a particular role you could make? Or like, does it say in the, like, to learn biases, roll, da-da-da-da?
Yeah, DC 15 sense motive to learn one bias. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Make it so.
DC 15 sense motive.
Cool. Make it happen.
Might help if I had my character sheet open. Loading.
Hatching dragons.
There.
I'm a bit confused. What are you trying to roll for?
There is an optional rules system that was released in Ultimate Intrigue, I believe it was, to like have formal debates with folks, and Emmy's Bard archetype is really good at it. So hooray.
It's not why I selected the archetype, but it just happened to be in there. I go, that seems like a waste of stuff if I don't take advantage of it, at least at some point.
I'm pretty sure you just wanted to force this on me to make me struggle. I digress.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
You're dating a debate coach. Can't you just ask her for some help with this?
Don't remind me. It's too real. The war's come home. Based on what you have seen so far, allegory will get you a long way. Like, these folks don't have a library system, or like they don't write information down and store it. It's more of like an oral tradition kind of society, and so appealing towards, in general, things that would vibe more with that kind of spirit, such as like allegory or
Shaka when the walls fell.
God damn it. But yes, that.
Gotcha.
I saw a really good meme format today that was like, I can't wait till memes get so bad that that's how we start speaking to each other. Daniel with the white vans. Fucking dead.
Think about it this way.
Off the wall?
Memes are one of the only forms of communication that humans have that require both an actual, like, alphabetical codex. I'm trying to remember the exact words for, like, the parts that make up, not hieroglyphics, the opposite of it. I'm thinking of the linguistic term, not just
We can
words.
think of it after this game.
Jeff has no time for your bullshit. But yeah, in general, things that would appeal more to like that kind of society, and less of like flattery probably won't get you that far. Mockery probably not, unless you can really pull it off and make it super funny.
Gotcha.
If you want Yatil's advice, he would probably just say, just don't let the loud one talk.
Who's the loud one? Because I know I'm the pretty one, and I guess that one's the smart one over there. Local boy, are you the
Here? I wasn't certain if I was staying behind to talk to Norl for a bit or if we had split off.
Either is fine.
Be with you guys then. That's more entertaining.
It's Gregor. Gregor's the loud one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
obviously.
No
The
doubt
quiet,
about
broody one is the loud one.
Or it's Ragnar when he's too drunk.
And firing his weapon.
God damn it.
When he does fire his weapon, he is the loudest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, use explosives.
But yes, there is a giant red exclamation point over the...
Yeah, I was going to say that Yatil would gesture to the rest of the party and invite them to go and meet with the elders if they're willing to take them as an audience.
So then I suppose my follow-up question is there anything else anyone wants to roleplay out with their family / members of Ortholt, or look around or checks or anything like that?
No, I don't think I can find anything interesting for Gregor in Rooksy City.
Yeah.
Finn would just like to know where Gnarl's resting so that way maybe later the two could catch up over a bite or something.
Ulrich's probably just gonna take notes and bother Yatul with questions about his culture, but nothing that we necessarily need to roleplay out. Maybe I will catch up on that in our role-playing part of the Discord.
Alrighty, works for me. In that case, let me get perception checks from all of y'all.
Is this a... I'm not going to make one for Smiles. I presume this is a people perception.
Yeah.
Can't even reroll, because supernatural abilities are suppressed in anti-magic fields.
Yeah, you could always use your hero point. I always feel like I'm baiting when I do that, and then someone will immediately roll ones and just like shit their pants and die all over the battlefield.
Well, I'm fine. 21 is decent.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I can't use my diviner class ability.
You'll be fine.
So we're waiting on Ragnar then.
Oh, I had a refresh. Hang on. It wouldn't roll, so I hit refresh.
I love being a wisdom caster.
Oh, you do. Makes me miss Mirrodin a little bit. Well, he was Chaw-based. Anyway, I digress. We've got good enough numbers there. As you guys go and approach, I suppose what is like the biggest island in the marsh around which it is clear that like all of Ortholt has basically been built around, and then there's Ragnar with the wind. Damn, that was good, Chewie. In the center, rising up, the island kind of is hill-shaped. There is a, I guess, for lack of a better term, an amphitheater, which is where the Council of 16 sits. Outside it, you probably hear them before you see them and then turn the corner. This seems to be where most of the orc tribes that have made their way to Ortholt are gathering. They all, like... The amphitheater has a set of stairs that lead up to what is basically an open forum. However, it seems the orcs are being, not necessarily at spear point, but there are folks preventing them from going up the stairs. I suppose it's probably be just Ragnar. Nah, that's not fair. Ragnar and Elric and Vin, the three of you, as you're turning the corner. Everybody else is a little more fixated on the at hand. Here are several 6'5" plus very burly men and women who are all in various states of everything from I'm so mad I'm gonna punch someone if I don't get my way to just resting Klingon face, I suppose. At the you kind of just catch a little teeny tiny bit of him cresting the top of the hill. They appear to be, at least from their size, because they're probably about head and a half smaller and about 4 inches less broad, shall we say. Probably a half orc, is being led by 4 or 5 Uruksi, and you see the backs of their tails and a little bit of him before he crests the hill and is out of sight.
I'm gonna lean over to Gnarl, kind of elbow him a bit and be like, "Hey, who's the half orc?"
Half orc? I have to assume Savong Law. He's... Gnarl snaps his fingers a couple times. He's new. He's from Eobaria. Calls himself Gorham's war drummer. I assume he has been elected to speak for us. That or the Uruksi have chosen him. There's a big, like, exhale from, like, Gnarl is not small by any stretch of the word, so his exhale is probably, like, set the fan to 1 volume, as the air just, like, comes out. Impudent, pompous bastard, if you ask me.
The war drummer of Gorham, and what was his name again?
I may or may not have stolen this from somewhere. If you know where, I might give you... Well, no, you're just going to Google it, and then you get your second hero point. I'll put his name in general.
Okay, cool. So I'm just putting him in the sheet. That does look familiar, but I don't remember where.
How do you pronounce that?
Savong La.
Gotcha.
Doesn't ring a bell. The description did, however, sound just like our Oracle past summoner.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty cool guy. We're gonna have fun with him.
As the group of you approach, you get nothing overly violent towards any of you, but it's very clear to all 7 of you that the assembled orc tribes, of which there are many under many different banners, all of which have been disarmed, but are, like, probably the most threatening thing that happens is there is a lot of, like, rolling of the shoulders, cracking of the knuckles kind of stuff, as they're very clearly sizing all of you up. In particular, Vin, who is, like, stuck to his brother-in-law this whole time.
How many Uruksi are there to the orcs that are here?
Not a lot. The folks who guard the council meetings don't need a lot of help, is a good way to put it. There's only like 5 or 6 of them in a straight line in front of the stairs. But that's all they really need.
Okay.
Eric isn't feeling particularly great, being eyed by people who can probably crush his skull with their bare hands while he's defenseless without magic. Doesn't feel great. Feeling kind of nervous.
Wouldn't be too worried. You got somebody who can crush skulls with his teeth and you right now.
I try my best.
Yeah, I didn't really disarm the monk at all.
Yeah, well, the monk's also with his own people.
2 points for you, Teal.
Teal would
Yeah.
like to go up to one of the guards and ask them if the council is in. I guess we already saw that they're going to receive somebody for audience, but they more than one at a time, I suppose.
Okay. So you approach. You probably don't recognize anybody by name, but, like, if you are PFC Yatil, these guys are, like, the spec ops, basically, and they know at least of your rank, and they see you, and you ask them what you say, and they turn to each other. They send a runner. One of them goes bounding up the stairs, and then comes running back. The orcs have sent, they nod, a representative to make their case. They claim that there is a weapon sacred to their deity in the lands to the west, and that we should support them.
West.
I forget the compass on the map is stupid. More like southeast. Shoosh.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I was like, wait, are we going to the mountain section?
I'm going straight to
Where the
protect.
dwarf tower thing is, right?
That is the first part you saw of it. There are rumors of many more.
So I'll mention that to you guys. So this guy is asking, doesn't seem to be asking about the actual army of the dead. He's asking about this artifact that Gnarl was speaking of.
Yeah. I'm gonna, like, kind of lean over towards Yaziel. I trust Gnarl. I do not trust the rest of these people. So, yeah, we know kind of where it is, but we should probably keep it to ourselves.
As you lean in and do the whispering, there are probably like 6 or 7 more orcs have gotten closer around Gnarl. They are all Torn Tusk. They are all of his tribe. But that doesn't mean that there's not still, like, lots and lots and lots and lots of tribes that aren't the Torn Tusks here, and like it's very obvious the Torn Tusks are outnumbered by the general looks of disdain that are being thrown your direction.
Saying hello to all the other members of the Torn Tusks.
They caplaw you, I suppose.
Aw, the hell does that mean?
Success, if you must know.
Victory. Victory or success in Klingon.
Fair, okay, I guess.
They kind of look like they're like sizing up Gnarl, like they're about to try and hurt him, I guess.
Told you the story of my sister? I don't think I've told you all the story of my sister Orchid, and part of the reason why Gnarl here gets so many odd looks. So, when I was younger, and I mean like, I think I was 12 at the time, my father and my family decided to go out to the plains, essentially. We wanted to see what was on the other side of the slaw. Something about my father tracking down some particularly valuable game, my brothers were all wanting to show off how big they were, yada yada yada. Orchid also wanted to make a point of ourselves, and we headed out to the plains, and not too long we ran into the Gnarltusk tribe. They caught us by surprise and captured a few of us, myself included, because I was only 12, and even now you guys can see I am the runt of my family. And, well, Orchid somehow knew Orcish. I never figured out how she learned it. Maybe something about her, I don't know, maybe she had friends that knew it or something. I don't know everyone that my family knows. But essentially she managed to make a claim to try for ritualistic combat in order to free us. Well, she thought she made the claim in order to free us. In reality, she made the claim to take the chief status of Gnarl actually, I think it was Gnarl's father at the time. Gnarl was set to be the next one to take the throne.
Local boy question. So let's cut to the chase. So your sister is queen of the Cornhusk Orcs, is what you're telling me?
No, she's a war chief of the Gnarl Tusks.
Okay, war chief of the Cornhuskers. Got it.
Torn Tusks, not Cornhusks.
Exactly.
No.
Cornhuskers, I like them. Would they be interested in, fighting hordes of undead legions?
I look kind of like back to Gnarl.
There's every time Cornhuskers is said, Gnarl looks more Nebraskan every single time. There are so many high schools in my part of the world where the mascot is in fact the Cornhuskers. It's real.
Oh my god.
But there's also like he nods thoughtfully at the notion of this. He doesn't really say a lot of much because he's still kind of, as Yatil kind of looks back and gets his general bearings on things. Gnarl knows he's being sized up, and Gnarl is like, not only is there stigma amongst his people for having lost to an outsider and now like having the audacity to not just kill them and take his tribe back, but also like being romantically engaged with them. It's always pretty dangerous for him, and he's in, I won't necessarily say hot water, but they're always sizing him up. The tribes are always sizing each other up, looking for more like ways to gain advantage over the other, but him in particular hasn't exactly made any friends, aside from the Jimersons and the Esoteric Order. Those don't count. I mean, amongst like the tribes at large.
I mean, I've always told him if there's too much trouble in the plains, there's plenty of territory in the Gnarl marshes.
You want the Cornhusk Orcs to expand their little territory all the way to the Gnarl marshes?
No, they don't. Okay, they're hunter-gatherer tribes. They don't really have territory. Not to mention the fact that they're one of many tribes out there. Like, the Gnarl Tusk, oh my god, now you got me messing it up, damn it!
It's alright, local boy, don't worry.
Perhaps this isn't the best place to be discussing this. It's likely that our representative will take a while to plead his case. If you guys want to discuss this, may I suggest we go somewhere a bit later?
It's not rude for us to, like, request an audience and then leave the area, is it?
I'll just ask if they can send a runner once they're done with him.
I mean, Devin can go up and he styles his hair in the most Karen way possible and ask if they can bump in front of the line and go next.
Make a diplomacy check.
Not going to work.
Oh, it's definitely not going to work. I'm cursed with diplomacy. I'm literally cursed. It's not going to work. If anything, even if it does work, it's going to make things worse.
I forgot about that.
No. Oh no. Oh my.
So even on his best day, the Oracle curses, he goes and Devin probably thinks he's saying the right things, but everybody kind of gives him like the fuck look as he's saying all of this. As he does so, y'all can hear from like the amphitheater above you. You can't really pick out words, but like the pitch is loud as the war drummer begins making his case. There are some Uruxi up at the top from sounds of it, based on the fact that there's like, I guess I won't necessarily say cheering, but like loud voices in Uruxi, little like bits and pieces of what sounds like agreement with his case based on tone of voice. It becomes probably obvious to all of you that if there's not some kind of immediate intervention, these guys might win the support of the council before you even have a chance to speak. Folks at least seem to sound like they're liking what he's saying.
What is he saying?
Hard to say from here without being a little closer, but it's very like, you can pick up loud, like aggressive and passionate tones, followed by like more in like almost in time with him from the onlookers up there.
Yeah, Duel, can you get us in there?
Can Yatil let them in there? I mean, I just assume that this means that we just have to wait until they're done with him until they fuck.
I want to make the case a bit too early, though, Yatil, lest these orcs. Oh. Can Vin push forward a little bit to try and actually gather what he's saying?
You could, yeah. It's more of an issue of like, it's probably like 50, 60 feet up and then forward a little, and the sound is not carrying back down the hill. By the time it gets back down, it's dissipated too much.
If I could just interject for a sec, I guess I'm sound a little. I think I'm a bit confused here. Is this under the impression that if they agree to what he's saying, they're not going to accept her offer?
It may be possible.
Okay.
All right. Is the entrance guarded? Like, are they keeping people from going in?
They're not like actively having to push people back, but that would seem to be their like general function. Yatil would know it's more so like the other Uruxi know better than to cross them kind of thing, but they more so are there as a function of like, there are a lot of outsiders. We're not sure exactly what's going on. Let's double the watch on the important people.
Tootsie approach them, speaking in Draconic. Please, I apologize for my pet peacock here. But we do really urgently need to speak to the council. There are many undead gathering in the region, and we need help. And I am afraid that if we go on this wild goose chase for some orcish weapon, that the undead might take over. We really need to speak to the council immediately.
Diplomacy.
I'd like to make an aid another on that, and I'd also like to remind them that I was ordered to bring these people here to see the council, and we need to fulfill that order.
Roll the aid another.
God dang it.
Oof. Nevertheless, between the two of you, there's enough, like, the sentinels arranged before the stairs understand, and they nod. They spread apart enough of a distance that, like, it's clear Tuxie could squeeze past. Then from there, several of the, like, assembled ruffians, shall we say, all seem to understand what's happening, and a general rabble starts to break out, and Another runner is sent up, another runner comes back down and informs everyone assembled that the council would be willing to let, though they agreed to let the war drummer, which that's what they call him Gorham's war drummer, speak his piece without any other outsiders or even his own tribesmen. They're willing to bend that if it's really that big of an urgent issue, and they will open the forum to all of the outsiders.
All right.
So, two will gesture everyone forward then.
There's not a lot of gesturing needs to happen. As soon as they move, the mosh pit makes its way up the hill, if that makes sense at all. Y'all are pretty rapidly swept up in it. Not necessarily in danger, but like the crowd's going that way, you're going that way kind of deal. As y'all crest the top of the hill, you get a better look at probably about the size of a slightly more built Vin with this roguishly handsome grin, despite the tusks that jaggedly point out at awkward angles. There's a awkward tan line on him running from collarbone down to his opposite hip bone, where very clearly a strap normally sits. Y'all come up. He turns before the assembled 16 Iruxi that sit kind of in a semicircle, leaning forward, their hands on their knuckles, listening. Esteemed members of the council, this is highly irregular. He puts a hand up to his chest. I don't understand. I was told I would be able to speak to you in private, make my case without these. And he kind of waves generally in the direction of the party. Interlopers. I was even so kind as to leave my brothers and sisters out of your noble establishment. Why have you changed your mind?
Because the undead are coming to kill us all! That is why I am here. We are Devin and his disciples, a offshoot agents of the esoteric...
grab Devon by the head and kind of cover his mouth and be like, shut up.
It's
Character
alright.
out of character.
Can I assist him?
In character. He's very much doing this in character.
Yeah, this is Devin's a fucking mess.
This is the 6th time this has happened in this campaign. Devin runs forward shouting the end is nigh. And he just...
Ben's gonna physically stop and kind of if Gnarl will help him, kind of just hold Devon and kind of look over to Tuxie and be like, your peacock's acting up.
Can I assist Win?
Yeah, Vin and Gregor, and probably a little bit of smiles. It's not hard to just
Yeah, go for it.
grab the man's and pull him back a little. The elders, all 16 of them, turn Yatiel's direction and just, young one.
I step forward and take a knee before the elders, and I address them. Noble elders, forgive this transgression. As was ordered, I have come forth from the lands beyond our marshes. I have brought forth outsiders that may be willing to help us with the threat of the undead scourge, as was seen by the Withered One.
At mention of the Withered One, there's kind of a...
Please, their case.
At mention of the Withered One, there's kind of a general from all the assembled Iruxi, that hushed, ooh, ah, kind of thing. The Iruxi all turn to each other. They have a quick sidebar. It lasts probably a minute and a half. They are discordant, but... And they kind of look back towards each other again. The one that is speaking for all of them. Indeed, we can use all the friends we can get, whether they are... Points towards the assembled ruffians that have all taken seats in the amphitheater and just kind of throw along with the general, the undead are coming, and then the rabble behind them, which rapidly gets silenced. Our friends to the north or our friends from farther lands? Is it this one, they point at Devin, that speaks for our new compatriots?
No.
Oh.
No, not necessarily,
No,
sir.
cover
As you
the
see,
mouth,
as
cover
I'm
the mouth.
Devin- No, wait, trust
Cover
me,
the
trust
mouth.
me. I got this
No,
one. I got this one.
no.
I'm gonna lick your fingers.
Can I
Let me
grapple him?
introduce you
Fine.
to my
silence
head
him?
of security and intelligence. This is Tuxiel, the Copper Scale. She is wise beyond her years and understands so much about the horrible things that are going on. That is why I chose her as my chief officer, and I will let her brief you all.
That is one of the best
I
decisions you've
would
ever
like
made.
to grapple him.
I want to agree with him, but I also don't want to agree with him because that would mean Yatu would be agreeing with the talking one.
That's the best thing about playing
Uh,
Devin is he's an asshole, but he's right and will like give Tuxie the spotlight. But because I know how awesome Tuxie is, because I said Tuxie's going to be awesome, it's going to reflect back on me that I'm awesome because Tuxie is now my head of intelligence.
Regardless, the jabbering one is quite mad. Also correct. Teal kind of looks back at Tuxie questioningly.
Can you guys hear me?
I can. And yeah, you definitely, as this is going on, Gregor gets his arms like under Devin's armpits in such a way that like he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, not only this, I want to cover his mouth and everything so he can't just start talking, and Gregor doesn't care if you lick his hand because he wears gloves.
Can't lick through the gauntlets. Okay, so all of that happens. The war drummer turns back and just, really, esteemed elders of Orthold, you are going to hear out this. I'm sorry. I should not waste any more of your time. Let me make it plain. This. And he points up to the sky, vaguely in the direction where the new star has appeared. My people, we understand this is a sign from our Lord in Iron. Our time has come. And if there are undead in our way, and if there are undead in your way, we would be more than happy to help you, cracks his knuckles, shatter a few skulls. Certainly, once we have this weapon, perhaps all of us can benefit. Or would you rather listen to, what was it, Devin and his disciples? There's kind of a general jeer from the assembled tribesmen behind him.
Tuxie approaches and bows. Please, I would like to apologize on behalf of the... we've been calling him a peacock since we got here because he's very loud and sometimes doesn't know when to stop talking. However, this threat, I assure you, is very real, and it goes beyond just a few undead showing up here and there. We have specifically been sent here to deal with an incursion of necromancers in the area, and we also are aware of the star. More specifically, it is a meteorite, or a meteor, I should say, has not landed, and this is going to sound crazy, but we were there when the star first appeared. We were caught in an intersection of various planes, particularly Devin over there, the peacock. He's got a little bit scrambled across the plains, and Ra had to send him back. Now, the meteor, that was seen as we were warned that we do not know the meaning of it yet by a crypt dragon, a servant of Pharasma. And since we have been trying to gather allies in the region far and wide to help in the battle, and of course, my friend, that does not preclude the tribes either.
As this is all going on, the war drummer steps up and does his best to get between Tuxie and the and the assembled tribes or the elders rather, I should say, and just, are you seriously going to Pharasma's dragon tearing of the this is nonsense. And he just kind of does that like really, bruh, kind of look. It's now that you're a little closer to him, you can see he's considerably younger than a lot of the assembled folks, and with that he carries that young teen angst, I guess. Scar? What scar?
from where Devon's body was separated across the plains.
Esteemed council, a scar could be from anything. Maybe he just fell in a hole. Maybe he was too afraid to get his clothes dirty.
Special scar, and Devin starts taking off his clothes so you can see his scar.
Oh no!
Still grappling.
As child Devin continues struggling.
You're not going to embarrass anybody. The Uruxi don't wear clothes anyway, except for like.
It's more so the act of just him being insane.
The council all does, they sidebar and then they come back and just, we would see this scar of yours.
We'll show you. It is in the holy symbol of Ra. Devin?
Now he goes up and he takes his shirt off and shows him where his favorite kidney is.
And there's kind of like general, like, folks looking real intent. Savang Law just kind of like sticks his nose up in the air. Just, you said, and he kind of like storms back a little bit. The council sidebars again, as they are wont to do. Clearly there is only, well, perhaps we are ahead of ourselves. Young Kobold, what would you have us do? This one wants us to pledge our full military support before his coalition of tribes wants to sweep through the lands on the other side of the swamp, looking for some long-lost weapon. What do you propose in alternative?
Would the Wither One propose, my lords?
There's kind of like a general... The question is still pointed at Tuxi.
You know, I would have to propose that all of us, including the orc tribes, need to cooperate in order to fight the undead scourge. If that means that we find this weapon should intel present itself as to its whereabouts, then so be it. But that does not mean we can afford to spend all of our military resources on a single source of hope.
Collaborate with outsiders! And does anyone in the party speak Orcish?
Still.
Yes, I speak Orcish.
So those of us who understand Orcish, as Savangla turns back to his people, just a big shout of, over the history of our people when we've worked with outsiders, what has it got us but pain, misery, disorder, and death? And they all, like, start beating their chests and shouting, and for a little while it looks like the situation's gonna boil over, and then the speaker for the council just raises his hand up about like 6 seconds past, and then a bolt of lightning fires out of a clear blue sky, and the thunderclap is enough to silence everyone. Enough! Clearly, there's only one way to do this. You have your opinion that we should throw our resources before all of the orc tribes get what we need now. You would propose differently. There's a sidebar back again. I think the only way to do this is, well, you'll need to persuade us. There's kind of like a general from the back of the crowd as they all nod thoughtfully and think and stuff. It has been a long, long time since Ortholt has pledged its resources to anyone outside of Ortholt. But we're willing to listen. Whichever of you can make the more convincing argument, you have our support. And in the immortal words of my 1990-something nostalgia, it's time to do.
All right. I don't know who's supposed to be going first.
I believe, we'll flip a coin. Evens or odds, Emmy?
Let's go odd.
And first we shall hear from the little one. You don't mind waiting, do you? And they don't air quote actually war drummer, but that's the implication as they all turn his direction. The assembled orcs get a little riled up at this. The assembled Uruxi kind of like hiss, cough a laugh out.
Gotcha. So Tuxi will open with an allegory telling the story of the chaos of the undead, how they are continually rising up, and every victim can quickly be turned into a potential enemy if they're not properly taken care of. And we will outline the gloomy scenario lying before us. We demonstrate how it must be countered with a strategic approach rather than just with brute force. After all, brute strength alone cannot win a battle.
Alrighty, make the check.
Gotcha. And I believe there's a +2 to this from the audience bias.
You got it. Damn. Okay, so that happens. The crowd at large seems to take it pretty well as you give this very impassioned tale of all the things you've seen. Even like some of the assembled tribesmen simmer down a little bit, perhaps as they remember the times in which they were led by liches to go try to conquer the world only to have been reanimated and used as cannon fodder. Gnarl at some point during this probably leans down towards Vin and just, damn, she's good. Where'd you find her?
Let's just say whenever Cynthia asks you a favor, it's going to go on a hell of a ride.
You know, I saw her the other day. Seems to be doing well, a little... Well, you know her. She told me to tell anyone I saw that she says hi. And as this, like, sidebar is going on, Savangla steps up and just... Bah! Why? Why should we... Wars are won. Esteemed council members. On the battlefield. I certainly understand if someone as small as our esteemed associate here does not want to be caught in such a harrowing and gruesome place. She can't even control her peacock. Let me assure you, Gorthex are much, much easier to deal with and more deadly than... He points vaguely in Devin. Not even vaguely. He just, like, throws his thumb over his shoulder vaguely in the direction where Devin is. This rabble. And he counters with baiting. And the words fall on deaf ears. The words, like, he fires it off. There's a lot of, like, his people agree. And when you say Gorthek or coward or things like that, they're all gonna kapla at the top of their lungs. Nevertheless, like, the ancestors just kind of look at him, cock their heads. There is nothing cowardly about retreating, and even the bravest of warriors is small. I don't think it's the strength of her arm, I think it's the strength of her heart. And that means the first exchange goes to Tuxie. Woo! Which, remind me, means I lose 1 point of determination, is that right?
I believe so. What kind of roll did he use in that last one?
Bluff check. Bluff check specifically to bait you.
All right, bluff check to bait. That definitely has an effect with the special. So when you use an allegory to open an exchange, your opponent chooses to end the exchange. Okay, so he didn't choose to end it, so it doesn't increase by 2 there. And then baiting. Baiting cannot be employed to open an exchange. If you open the exchange.
Never mind, I see it. The exchange was set at 1, I believe. You raised the ante from 0 to 1, so he loses 1. And the floor goes back to you. And I keep forgetting push to talk is a thing. He loses 1 point of determination, and the floor goes back to Tuxie. Obviously, he's a little hot under the collar as this happens, but seems to mostly be, like, dealing with it. Certainly he has enough folks backing him up and, like, blatantly cheering him on that he doesn't seem that affected, just mildly incensed at best.
Got it. Trying to look at Because I think my option now would be to either counter or end the exchange, correct?
I believe so. Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
Or
He
does
hasn't
it end
lost.
because he lost.
Or yeah, you're right. It ends because he lost. He has lost 1 point of determination. Then you start over. Welcome to Kingmaker, where we all learn very side rules together. Wait till we get to kingdom building.
Oh, fun. I believe Tuxie will rely on rhetoric and better yet, she will use her wit. No, rhetoric. And she will make her case, arguing the nuance of tactical acumen both on and off the battlefield in order to win a war. After all, a war is has to be looked at both from the perspective of each battle and from the perspective of the overall goal. Oof.
Okay. There's kind of a general murmur amongst the crowd.
My advantage to spend an advantage to re-roll that.
Alrighty.
Much better.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, suddenly it gets a little better as the argument starts a little flat and then picks up. I think we fire back with the Make sure I understand this. Dope. Okay. He fires back with mockery, and he basically repeats the same thing you just said, but in like a slightly higher pitched voice, and just esteemed counsel. She already said that. I think we've all heard this argument. Time and time again. Do we need to hear it more? Really?
Ouch.
And the ante goes to 2.
Can I use my advantage thingy to give him disadvantage, my hero point?
You cannot.
Damn.
There's kind of a general, like, everyone who's not with this guy murmurs and, yeah, he's got a point. Whereas the Kapla side of the arena starts kaplawing very loud. And Tuxie.
All right, so that raises the ante to 34. Wow. Oh gosh. I believe the best bet would be to the ante is 2. All right. And determination is all the average of all the things put together, the average modifier.
Average modifier of all your ability scores plus your hit dice.
Nice. Okay. Tuxie will concede that and end the exchange.
Okay, fair enough. 2 damage.
Yep.
I feel like I'm playing Magic. Shock and pass. I digress. Back to you, Gus.
All right.
Is there anything that we could do to help her outside of making like other checks?
Yeah, any creative responses the 6 of you can come up with, certainly I would be more than willing to listen to.
Okay.
Mechanically, the duel itself is a one-on-one, but anyway, what you got for us, Emmy?
All right. Tuxie will try to rely on her wit to turn this around. So perform comedy it is.
When in doubt, make a joke.
Yep.
You already
Plain
succeeded
food,
making
am I
a soulless,
right?
Full-blooded animal laugh, so maybe you can. Okay, that's actually not a bad roll.
Yeah, we're pretty evenly matched. I just happened to crit there. Okay, so you basically just make a joke is what I'm hearing?
Laugh it off.
Yeah, that's sort of a recovery. She sort of allows herself to be the butt of the joke, of the mockery, but tries to turn it around to return to the main point. She's taking it in stride.
Alrighty. So it looks like the only thing I can everything is if you try to counter wit with this, it's real bad. Damn. Well done. Well done. Well, I think your opponent already did mockery again, so we can't sure, why not? Savangla responds with a you do what you do, you make the joke, and he kind of like follows up, like leaning into the joke, just I'm sorry. Was that offensive? My bad. Maybe I don't quite understand your particular outsider culture.
You are still an outsider to us, friend.
Does Yatil say that out loud?
You know what? I'm gonna own it, and I'm going to say, yeah, I'll own up to that.
Make a diplomacy check.
Nice. Oh, that's not us.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not
I'm.
That's us.
Can I use a hero point to reroll that?
Sure, go for it. I'm surprised your diplomacy is only a -1 also.
And I also have no points in diplomacy, so.
Fair.
Okay, well that's reasonably better.
Does anyone else who's not Tuxie want to intervene as Yatil speaks out?
Can I bring up something else as well, actually? Yatil brings something else up.
Not right now.
Okay.
And then interject with something?
Yeah, at this point, basically, it's does anyone want to aid another diplomacy check or otherwise do anything in response to what just happened?
Tuxie glares at Devon, looking for backup.
I would like to yell out, esteemed members of the council, I'm sorry we've come to bother you and make issues of your culture, but we must remind you, not only have we lost people to the undead scourge, your own were killed by these monsters. Yatil here was the only one of his party that survived an encounter by one of these undead creatures.
That's a good point.
Back that good point up with a diplomacy check.
That's
That's a
what
good
I was
point.
going to bring up, actually.
God damn it, Sven.
Want to reroll that?
Boom.
Ah,
Can I please borrow someone else's?
I mean, technically, the aid another is successful. Does anybody else want to interject now?
I guess I'll try.
Anyone who's not Yatil who already did. I'm asking at this point, Elric, Devin, Gregor.
I would love to help, but with my 7 charisma and my flaw, I roll at a -4 for diplomacy. So
Oh, okay, yeah, no, thank you for not saying anything.
yeah,
I have a
Yeah.
-1 to diplomacy.
I have my hands full with keeping Devon in check.
God damn it.
Okay, as a backup.
Speaking of Devin, it appears silence is Devin's answer. So there's.
Oh, can you wait? Okay, can you hear me now?
There he is.
yes.
Okay, that was weird. It wasn't working. I was pushing the talk and it wasn't the thing. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna wait because I'm gonna save my, dramatic outburst for a better time. It just doesn't feel right. The tensions don't feel high enough quite.
Classic. Okay, fair enough. So Yatil and Vin say what Yatil and Vin say. In response to what is essentially the duel being like overtly interrupted. There's probably about 90 seconds of rabble before the council again. Someone casts Call Lightning and it goes bang very loud. Enough! I will ask the assembled whether or not they are members of our warriors or not to please refrain from interrupting the exchange. Yes, we know we have lost members of our tribe to the outside threats. They are not the only ones. That doesn't mean we get to just interject. We get to interrupt these two. Certainly, the decision will be made here. More arguing over this and more bringing up things we already know is pointless.
Teal kind of just hangs his head in shame a little bit.
And the exchange ends and Emmy loses a point of resolve.
Ouch.
Also, just like shrinks in bed.
Right. So that's 3 down so far?
2, I believe.
One from this side?
You conceded 1 and lost 1 here. You won the first one.
Gotcha. Okay. It's whatever the ante is that I lose. I thought the ante went up, but I guess I'll rely on you for that. Gosh, I'm trying not to repeat stuff. This thing is lasting so long.
Well, not try bringing up the fact that it's not just you guys, but it's an entire order that's dedicated to one purpose, which is killing the undead.
True.
Man does make a good point.
So, my question is, based on what's going on, could I try a attempt at logic using no, that wouldn't be too good. Yeah, she'll do an emotional appeal with it. Esteemed council, thank you for keeping the order and allowing us to continue. However, you have to understand that it's not just our group who's trying to fight off this threat. It is an entire order dedicated to fighting off the undead. In addition, we have support from Timberfall. We have support from the Gafflin at the Old Oak. And we have support from the Cecilia as well.
You may fire when ready.
Then bluff, perform, sense motive. Do bluff.
Okay. So lots of like side talk about how the Cecilia are much bigger than they are, and the Gafflin aren't just there to troll the party and make fun of the druid, I guess, which has basically been most of Kingmaker. But before I respond with what her opponent retorts with, does anybody have anything they want to add or anything they want to do, like behind the scenes? Would the archers like to get in position to quickly assassinate her opponent?
I don't know. These exchanges are all like diplomacy based, right? Like I can't make like an appeal by pointing to history and past events and the horrors that unchecked
Logic allows you to
undead
use
might have done.
Yeah, you definitely aren't just opposed to, like, there's Emmy could use profession executioner for some of these. Mostly, like, I'm asking the 6 of you not for the purpose of the duel, but for the purpose of like anything you want to do to try to influence the outcome, or like just like behind the scenes sneaky things.
Keeping the audience, whatever.
Asking if any of us want to do an action to influence the debate without actually adding anything to the debate.
More or less. Mostly your own creativities.
This debate is also about like winning over the crowd, right?
Yeah, winning over the crowd can certainly help her.
Okay. Then I think I would probably try to be on the lookout to see if we can maybe find people who seem to be not yet on either side, who look like they can be won over.
And we might be able to throw some discord. Drummer Boy is from the corn husking tribe, right?
He is not. Cornhuskers are the good guys. He is. You're not sure what tribe he's from, other than he's from very far away.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, so probably like a perception check to find people who look, who seem like that they haven't yet fallen into either camp or something. Like they can still be swayed.
Okay, sure. Make it so. So most of the assembled Uruxi are watching with, I guess I won't necessarily say bated breath, but it's certainly a very interesting and relevant topic. Most of the Uruxi haven't been persuaded, and certainly like they'll follow the will of the council. I guess more so with that perception, what you notice is like the orc tribes who are not around Vin right now are all just like gleefully and at the top of their lungs cheering on Drummer Boy.
Yahtzee, can we sneak away real fast to go get the wrinkly one and bring him here? And then they'll be like, ooh, the wrinkly one's here. We should totally listen.
It's called the Withered One, and also no.
Bullshit.
As the Drummer Boy breaks out his Intimidate to... God, I didn't think I was going to beat that one. Yeah. Fires back with... what was it even called? I forget.
That being said... Sorry to interrupt.
Good.
Maybe try and coax the crowd into demanding for the Withered One to make the final decision?
You certainly could. While that's going on, Drummer Boy fires back with presence. Just, Gathlin, you want to bring an army of tiny little fairy folk to war. You want to bring not centaur, not octopi, but somehow stronger than both out of the water. Esteemed council, their support is meaningless before the 10,000 spears assembled behind me. And he raises his arm and they all do a big old cheer as he fires back with presence. Making sure. Remind me, you did logic that time, was it?
No, that was an emotional appeal.
Yeah, emotional appeal.
And the council all kind of like, there is a general like, dude, that was rude. Come on. As he does take a -2 on that check. And emotional appeal is not being used to counter anything. And so that means he wins the exchange by 1, which is unfortunate.
He doesn't win the exchange. I think he just increases the ante, and now I get a chance to beat that 33.
Right. You're right.
And increase the ante further.
Not a 33, though, a 31. He took a -2 on it.
Oh, a 31?
Because he used presence to counter emotional appeal.
Got it.
Meanwhile, Yatil / rest of the squad, if there's whatever checks you want to make to try to call the Withered One or get people to like start like trying to end the duel and get the Withered One, feel free.
All right.
I shall await the modifiers from the not Emmys. Not necessarily. Whatever you can justify to me. But while that's going on, Emmy, you're round.
All right. Yeah, I was trying to see if there was anything
honest, I don't think I have anything.
Remember not to interrupt people.
Okay, this could work. Yeah, I suppose. Gosh, there's not a lot of good options, but we will try to counter that with mockery. Sort of mocking her a little bit. All right, here we go. And then I'll spend an edge to try again.
Alrighty.
Oof.
You hate to see it. Alrighty, so the mockery falls pretty flat. I believe that means Tuxie loses 2 determination. Where's she at right now?
She's at 1.
So it's pretty obvious, the 6 of you. Tuxie's not doing well this time. The crowd, most of the Uruxi at this point have turned. Some of them have just manually gotten up to go and sit with the rest of the orc tribes to just like cheer on who seems to be the better arguer. Anybody got any Marys they want to hail real quick?
I mean, this is just at she's at 1 after the -2 from the ante from this one is what I'm saying.
Right, that's what I mean.
She's still got 1 left.
But if she loses one more, she's out.
Exactly.
Which is why I ask Squad if Squad's got anything they want to do.
I let Devin go and say, "Do you think Tiger?"
No Peacock.
No. But yeah, Devin is no longer grappled.
Oh no. Isn't he like cursed in diplomacy?
Yeah, like that's why this is not my diplomacy is not my thing. But I still have my intimidation. So I'm going right up to old fucking Snaggletooth over there and let's talk some shit.
You mean the board drummer?
Yeah. Then aren't his teeth going like 2 different directions or his tusk or whatever?
They are. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, fucking Snaggletooth over there. We're talking shit on him. So I walk up to him and I let him know that regardless of how this whole outcomes ends, after this whole fucking plot biscuit is done being digested and I shit it out, I'm gonna shit on you and I challenge you to single combat tomorrow at sunrise.
This just took an interesting turn.
Welcome to Jeff.
Damn it, I didn't have much else to go with. I figured that'll shake things up a bit. I usually don't know, I'm a chaos is a ladder type of person. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I just know that what's going on right here needs to be shaken.
You should not have let go of him. You should not have let go.
Jeff is my whole mood, basically. All right, make the intimidate check. Wow.
Oh my
Be like
god.
-3, I think, because what's his name isn't with me. So I know there's gonna be some minuses since damn Robert Birdman is not around. But yeah,
Because that aid nether in there.
Tuxie can add an 8 another to
Meanwhile, she's in the back just hyping him up. Okay, the crowd gets... Oh, man, I gotta remember to catch my webcam when it freezes. Why does my webcam keep freezing? I hate everyone. Not you guys. You guys are awesome, and thanks for your support. Mostly I hate webcams.
I answer to win the. Let's see what will happen.
The crowd gets real quiet as this goes down. The war drummer boy, turns Devin's direction, just kind of like stands up to his full height, sizes him up, smiles real big as he does so. You can see several of his not pointy teeth are missing as if they had been like bashed out, or at least like, my dude needs braces real bad. Sure. That sounds wonderful. There is a general cheer from behind him as his people begin to scream out, just basically in Orcish, just blood for Gorham over and over and over, and various other praises and things. As Gnarl just kind of leans into Vin, just, can he take him? I don't think he can take him.
No, Ven is just facing his hands, just shaking his head. I want to go home.
And
too bad. You're riding this sinking ship to the depths with us, local boy.
The council...
We know not what we do.
The council just kind of like... Eventually it does get super quiet as it becomes evident there will not be blood for Gorham this day. That can be solved at some other... That's on all of you. Kill each other as long as you're not doing it within the bounds of Orthold, and as long as you aren't killing citizens of Orthold, we're fine with that.
But speaking of killing citizens of Orthold, that's exactly what the undead are going to do unless we fucking stop them. How about that?
You're not wrong, human. They turn towards Tuxie. Do you have any final remarks?
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
I love how all of the verbal duels we've done so far have just, whether or not Tuxie wins or loses, it just ends with kick the other guy's ass. Just saying.
Just how it goes.
Not making friends, just more enemies.
Just more corpses.
I'm gonna do
Enemies are just
something
friends
a little
who haven't still like you yet.
Boom.
strategic here. I'm gonna do the logic appeal. I'm gonna try profession executioner to sort of explain how poorly things will go with the undead.
Alrighty.
Good.
God damn it.
You do know that I was trying to lose this particular... I was hoping that he can beat that.
Oh, really?
I'm intentionally trying to increase the ante because I know that if I lose this one, I lose all together. So I got to knock him down as much as possible in one go.
Oh, right. I got you.
Oh no, you're playing a gambling game. Oh no.
That's basically what the verbal duel is just like it's a big old gamble wamble. Alrighty. I'm trying to find what you used. I think you used... Yeah, we used the good old Logic-a-roo. I can't really... There's no good counters for that. So...
+2 for opening.
+2 for opening. Nice, it's an 8. Dope. I think he's just gonna fire back with just... Doesn't really say a lot, just kind of points one, like his pointer, bird, and thumb just at you. His ring finger and pinky just kind of curled up, and he looks over at the council, looks back at everyone else with just the big, just like he just smelled a turd face, right? You know what I mean? Turns back towards the council. Seriously? My modifier is 14, but if I fumble this, you will win the exchange. Unfortunately.
Good. Now I have a 29 to beat. All right. What did he roll?
Mockery.
Mockery. Good.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I
I
would
am
like
going
to say
to-
in
Presence. Use presence to fight him on that. And if necessary, use my hero point.
Didn't you already?
No, I
No,
used edges.
Yeah, she used edge to
Alright.
reroll.
Okay.
Hero point it is.
Cowabunga it is.
Oh, and that's +2 for countering mockery with presence.
Okay. Do you want to flavor it?
Flavor it.
Yeah.
So that puts me at 29 alongside him. I was like, did I win? What happened?
Well,
I'm not saying flavor that kill. I'm saying the exchange continues. Do you want to flavor it?
Yes. Pixie will roll on. You know, you are coming in here acting all tough, mocking me because of my small stature, yet you have never seen me in combat before. I can guarantee you that you lack the finesse to beat me in battle, and you most definitely lack the tactical acumen to even determine where the high ground is, let alone run a war.
Alrighty. He fires back with, even with a -2 from stuff. It looks like Tuxie gets a +2 on that 27, putting it 29. Does that mean he beats the 29 that gets 2, which is 27? Oh, yes. Yes, it does. So that sets the DC to 29, I believe.
That's correct.
And then he fires back with a 32. He does not concede the exchange when he loses that round, and then basically just kind of snorts and says, I'll take you both on. I think I can handle one foppish human and one tiny little kobold, copper or otherwise.
So what was that?
In terms of what he rolled?
Yeah, presence, whatever.
Probably... all of them have bluff. I rolled the bluff one. I suppose not wit. I can't do wit. I'm not good at that one. Which one is I'm not afraid of you? I guess more baiting. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that should bring the duel, I believe, to a close.
If he concedes. Or, no, because I get the chance to fire back. And the...
Oh, right. I'm so bad at this. Please support us on Patreon so I can fumble through weird rules together with my friends. You may fire when ready.
maybe get Lucia to appease this moment.
Get what?
Never mind.
All right. Let's try to quench that with some rhetoric and diplomacy. Oh boy, here goes nothing. Oof.
Anything to modify the roll at all?
I mean, it's a +2 for countering the countering baiting, but that's the extent of it.
Okay. There's Tuxie tries to fire off what she says, and she gets like to the end of her argument. The council has a quick sidebar, and the Council of Ortholt will provide its support to, and they turn towards the victor of the debate, who just kind of raises up one fist. His assembled masses behind him do the same and scream out at the top of their lungs for a very, very, very long time. Young half-orc, we will work out the logistics of it with you at a later time. Please, be gone from here. He nods, thanks the assembled crowd, and he and his people just kind of like hoop and holler and yell at the top of their lungs more like happy exaltations to Gorham and to Savangla as down the steps they go, leaving...
I thought your people were supposed to help us. What was the whole point of us risking our lives to bring you back here? We should have let the damn mummy eat you.
I would like to punch Devon for
I was going to punch
such a
him.
thing.
The monk and the slayer just turn around and tag him.
Even though we did not get...
Going to storm off to go find Rozu.
Okay, sounds good. What was Ragnar saying?
Even though we did not get them as allies, we at least learned more of the political weather of what's going on, who to trust, who not to trust. And not everybody will probably agree with them. We can get the rebels, the outliers, the underdogs, the ones that did not agree that want to help us.
I mean,
Well, not be as many, but a few.
I mean, that's not the point. It's that the fact that Teal's ears and his elder is inside him, and so that I could bring you guys here. But as soon as I come back, they're going to accept to help the orcs. Then that essentially they died for nothing, and Teal let them die for nothing.
Tuxie will look over to.
Either way,
Look
he's
over to
storming off
Vin.
to find Rozu.
Gotcha.
Tuxie looks over to Vin, thoroughly winded from that, and mouths the word "the tower" and leaves it at that.
Gnarl approaches like Tuxie and Devon and sizes the both of you up. You're not actually intending to go fight him, are you?
I mean, we could. I don't think you understand. I'm chosen by a god. Okay? We have to make sure that this evil does not spread, and more importantly, that everybody knows that it was me who saved everyone. These ungrateful bastards will learn, and matter of fact, it's gonna be even better, because like, oh no, sorry Devin, we should have listened to you the first time. Please save me from the lich about to kill me. So yeah, we can totally kill this dude.
I admire your courage, at least. Perhaps the two of you could take him on. Maybe if you catch him sleeping, I don't know if I would stand up to someone who has also been chosen by a god in a straight-up fight. In any case, he kind of just makes a general, like, fist-to-shoulder bow salute. I admire your bravery. I should return to the homelands. Know that the Torn Tusks will ride with you. We have business to attend to back in our own lands. Presuming we are able to resolve that in a timely manner, Vin, we will find you at Timberfall.
My laws.
And Gnarl goes to make his way down. The council at large turns to the assembled, like, members of the order who are still remaining, / members of the party who are still remaining, and looks to be like they're about to say something real big, and then from behind them there's this like really long sustained hacking call. It probably lasts like almost 2 minutes. When that happens, the council all gets real quiet. A couple of the actual, like, they don't send a runner. Members of the council get up and then go like back down and around, and they lead up. Both of them, like 2 members of the council, go down to support betwixt them a much, much smaller elderly human man who is like one old gnarled arm around each of the Eruxi's necks as he's brought forward, still just like hacking up all of the lungs. A little bit of blood comes out as he does it. As he gets a little closer, let me get a heal check as he gets a little closer, if I could, please.
Yatiel had just left to go find Rozu. Is Yatiel missing all this now?
Probably.
No.
Quick, someone go grab Yatiel.
And then quickly run and stick his head out and be like, Yati!
Hey, Yatiel, there's some plot over here.
Yati!
Thought I was going after the plot.
Well, in any case, Vin, Ragnar, it's really obvious as you first get a look at him, and his legs look like they're really, like from the waist down, he was really badly burned, or like his legs were broken at a young age repeatedly and they never healed. Upon further inspection, it's more like they're the legs of, it's really hard to say, but not a human's legs, more like some kind of withered fiery something or other, like a very ancient Ifrit that's all but burnt out, or some kind of like husk of a humanoid thing. It's real clear that the legs are like an extraplanar thing that had been stitched onto his body. He leans forward towards the Eruxi carrying him, and they bring him before the party, basically, as Yatiel turns the corner and the withered one is sat down in front of the squad. I'm very sorry. I meant to attend. And, like, that goes on for a while and more blood happens. It's not been the best of days, you understand. My name, the assembled Eruxi are all, like, very quiet and or bowing as this is happening.
Yeah, Tuxi's definitely bowing as well.
It's him.
Shocked and startled and quiet.
My name is Norath. I'm not gonna keep flavoring it every time, but like, this dude can't get a sentence out without just going full hack up a lung. My friends here refer to me as the withered one, but please, young one, you need not bow. He reaches down into the folds of his robes with a hand that can like almost barely get up there, let alone as it's trembling real bad. His thumb hooks around a medallion. He pulls it out to reveal the emblem of the esoteric order as he sets it down.
Tuxi's eyes go wide.
I'm a few steps beyond initiate, but there's no need to bow.
She'll stand up.
Why? You are a man.
That's what they tell me.
Oh, I mean, did you say that he was human or Ifrit?
Human, but like the folks who rolled the heal checks can tell that his legs aren't like really badly burned. More so, they're like as if you chopped off like some extraplanar thing's legs and then stitched them back on a human's body.
Okay.
He turns back to the council and in Draconic, just please, my friends, clear the assembly. I would like a word with my colleagues in private. They do so, and it's very rapid. The 7 of you are cleared. Like, the 7 of you and Norath have the floor. At this point, more guards, and Rozu makes his way up as more, like, armed soldiers are called to make a perimeter around the top of the thing. There are many a flying mounts with riders on top of them, like, doing just, like, hovering formations overhead kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they go to all this trouble.
I was going to ask you the same thing.
The story is a long one. Suffice to say, these fine fellows, they found me on an expedition. I was less than good. They brought me here. My magic helps protect them. It was actually I. And he, trembling hard, he reaches down and withdraws from a little belt pouch a very, very crumpled bit of parchment on which there are some notes like hastily scrawled. He passes it forward. I'm not sure if any of you are skilled in the alchemical arts, but, well, I'm sure they had you eat a bit of a thing that stopped magic, yes? That was my doing. Quite proud of it, actually.
Well, I do dabble in the arts somewhat. It says there's a neat plus 12 bonus on alchemy.
Now you want to roll it?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. His handwriting's real bad. It looks like the paper has sat in his pocket for a little while. It's kind of sweaty and gross, but like it's real clear from what Elric can make out that this is basically just the formula, and mechanically you can put it in your spell book. I don't know what level spell we want to call it. It's a little homebrewy, but it's essentially Potion of Anti-Magic Field, but it only targets the self. Well, let's see what level Anti-Magic Field is. It's one level lower than that.
Magic field like 8?
It is a 6th level spell. So basically, Elric, you can jam that. It's a little gross to put that particular page in the spellbook, I suppose, but as a 5th level spell, Anti-Magic Field, but targets the person. It's a spell that targets personal, essentially, duration 24 hours. You seem to understand that, young one. Please, please. He coughs up again. Keep it.
Thank you. Elric is always quite grateful about knowledge, so, and this is quite highly leveled knowledge at that too, so it's quite valuable to him. So he's very pleased with us. He probably thanked them like several times over. It's like, thank you, thank you.
Oh, please, please, son. There's no need. Just a favor an old man can do. I haven't exactly paid my dues to the order in many, many years. I assume you're out here to deal with the Whispering Way, yes?
Indeed. Their activity around these lands has been felt here and there. We haven't quite found their trail yet, but we keep stumbling over activity here and there. Like when we entered these lands, we had some ghouls attack us at an outpost. Later, we found some corpses of slain travelers that reanimated and attacked us. We found a tower full with vengeful spirits, but I think those might not have been connected to those undead. They seem to be more like connected to the history of that place. Anyway, and well, later on we found some animated heads and powerful necromancers manipulating memories and dominating people, and well, of course, also the creature that slew the pack members and party members of Duel.
I see. You, and in Draconic, he turns towards Yatil. I noticed the council has not sent you away. You must have earned quite a bit of esteem with my brothers and sisters here. Oh, speaking of which, where are my manners? And he withdraws from, well, he wouldn't need to withdraw. Actually, he just, as Elric is talking, just, my boy. You're one of mine. The Uruxi won't question me. Come, please. And he points his hand at you, and he begins incanting. A wave of like blue light hits Elric as the anti-magic field on him is dispelled. The same happens for Vin, then Devin, then Tuxi, then Ragnar, then everybody who had to eat the plot cookie. The plot cookie has now gone through your system. My friends, let's just say outsiders haven't always been the kindest. We take precautions.
Understandable.
Yeah, quite understandable.
Yes.
So, Teal would like to approach. What was his name again?
I will put it in the lay
Actual
chat.
name, I mean. And tell him, as you had ordained, with the what to. I mean, what was his name? Orlick. Sorry.
My name is Norath. Please, Withered One is... I'm not exactly fond of what became of me. The Uruxi can call me what they want, I suppose, but... We are friends, yes?
Fair. We've been calling you that for a while. You never said anything.
That's...
Maybe you did. I didn't hear it. Anyway.
It's maybe one of those things where people are like, "Oh yeah, you don't need to use like the honorific thing," and everyone's like, "Oh no, yeah." It's like you offer me that, but it's still I'm gonna use the honorific instead.
But sir, everyone calls you sir.
Yeah.
You were part of this Palatine, then you could convince the council to ignore the orcs to help with Palatine, no? Must tell them.
I certainly will.
Order them to ignore their calls. They will listen, won't they?
Theoretically. The power of the Withered One is... I won't necessarily call it exaggerated. Let's just say the situation has become slightly more complicated. He turns towards, like, all 7 of you assembled. Regarding this super weapon they speak of, how much do you know, if anything, exactly?
Its potential location.
I believe there was something about some scarring.
Yes, that happened to Devon.
Damn it. Okay, so apparently it won't. If I'm off the screen, it won't let me click to talk. So yeah, it's over my favorite kidney. You weren't here. I show it. So Devin starts, get naked again. Not naked, but like he starts to take his shirt off, like Devin does. He's real smooth about it. But yeah, just so you can see.
Aye. Looks like you got much luckier than I did. Let me show you my favorite legs.
I just
And
thought he was exaggerating.
he tries to like do leg lifts, but can get his ankles like 2 inches off the ground before he leans forward, bites his lip. He's obviously in a lot of pain.
It's okay. It's okay. I get it.
Teal will
That's
try
you.
to assist him if he's in trouble.
No, please.
You're like a burnt hot dog.
That's not inaccurate. Please, little one,
I go through that whole scene from Deadpool where I'm like a testicle had cancer and had sex with a burnt hot dog. My God.
Do you understand how it happened to you when...
Not at all. Last thing I saw, I was taking a nap and then nothing. What happened?
Well, near as I can figure. I'm not sure exactly why it is, and I've been in these lands for a little longer. At the time, the rumor was not of Gorham, it was of... I suppose it doesn't matter. Word was there was some kind of artifact here needed finding and bringing back to Caliphus. Unfortunately, what I found was a... He holds up his hands and like spreads his fingers out and then meshes them together. An area where the planes are forcibly being converged. I believe in my case, I was taken the wrong way through the plane of fire, or at least half of me. Or, perhaps more apt, there's some poor sod in the city of Brass that now has human legs that I assume have all burnt away. Perhaps we should call him Withered. In any case, I don't think this weapon is, if weapon it is, anything that humanoids can control. I believe our esteemed war chief is only going to lead the Uruxi to an early mass grave. Yes, I will speak to the elders.
Tell them to stop.
I will, little one. Fear not. Though certainly we could use the help of as many folks as we could get dealing with the rumors of the Whispering Way, which are apparently quite true. Frankly, if some of his ilk... He kind of trails off. I shouldn't... That thing with Tarbaphon was different. We shouldn't bring that up. No. I'm just saying, if he happens to catch a stray arrow or one of you rips him apart with magic, that would be ideal. In any case... I'm sorry.
Quest accepted.
Yeah, Vin just kind of like head back, eyebrows raised, like,
I think that stray arrows could kill a lich.
You just got to hit him right in the phylactery.
Yeah.
Though in this particular instance, I am referring to the ward armor.
Yeah.
I digress. I'm sure the 7 of you have so many questions. Is there perhaps, and again, more loud and angry coughing fits, is there anything I can illuminate for you, my friends?
How often does this splitty of the dimensions, I mean the planes things, happen?
It seems to be, and he withdraws again at no, probably not. He turns towards one of the assembled council members who still kind of just sits there making sure Grandpa's gonna be okay kind of thing, and just, please, my friend, my notes, will you go retrieve them for me? And off he goes. A couple minutes pass, the notes are brought back. He sets down a very scribbled and scrawled notebook with lots of things in the margins and random doodles. Seems to be, near as I can tell, completely random. When it happens, things that don't belong here are ripped in more than aspect, forced to stay here forever. God, can you imagine if someone summoned something I don't know, some kind of aspect of some powerful demon or something they thought would bend to their will, and then suddenly it gets its free will? That's basically the effect. To say nothing of if you get caught in... Basically, near as I can tell, if you're standing on a ley line when it happens, it is catastrophic.
That's kind of what happened to Devin.
And
Do we have a map of where the ley lines are around here?
Folks would be able to tell with a knowledge arcana check even without a map. A powerful enough detect magic might ping it too.
What is ley line? Keep wanting to say ley wine. I don't know why.
Ley wine.
Ley line.
Tuxie, Elric, you put your heads together and you can pretty easily figure out where ley lines sit. More commonly, when ley lines converge is usually where the big things happen, any particularly verdant growths of forests, any kind of natural wonders of the world kind of thing usually sit at a convergence of ley lines, and then they just spiderweb out throughout the multiverse, essentially. If you were looking, you could probably take a couple minutes, but you could reason out where logical conclusions would be. I'm sorry, little one, forgive me. All magic across all of the multiverse, whether you're like myself or my friend here, and you study for years and you learn how it works, or you're like a young debater and, he kind of leans in, squints a little. From the look of it, you're not entirely kobold, are you? Some kind of celestial being, or perhaps chosen by a deity, or chosen by nature. The route you take to magic is irrelevant. It comes from the same source, the ley lines which power it. To remove the ley line, it's like to take the arrow, or rather, no, he snaps. To take the bowstring from the bow. Simply it would cease to fire. One needs the other. Does that make sense, my friend?
I follow.
Yeah. Would that create some kind of dead magic zone?
Theoretically, yes, it could. And he tries to air quote, but mostly gets his hands up in weird claw shapes and then moves them. This weapon, I don't think is a weapon at all. I think it's something much, much more. Certainly if... I'm no Trazen the Infinite, but even I myself couldn't handle it, and I'm lucky to be alive.
I keep hearing treason over and over again.
Trazen was with us at one point, but Pharasma's dragon needed him.
Ah, I see. I was unaware he had any sort of relationship with any outer deities or their servitors, but I can't say I'm surprised.
They said that he needed to settle some unfinished business or something like that.
Seems to track. We all have unfinished business, certainly him.
But Roopsy also mentioned they had a treason.
I've heard that as well. I suppose when you're as powerful as Trazen the Infinite, rumors tend to fly.
He was a dusk walker or something like that when we saw him.
Back from the dead, then. Interesting. I believe all of the multiverse shudders as it loves and regrets the power of Trazen the Infinite.
So... we know that
So
the
what
weapon...
do you think you can do with this weapon? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're asking roughly the same line of questions I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, you said it's not a weapon. What exactly is this, and who would put it here? Like, who's the big bad? Why did someone just drop, or is this like a Death Note type of thing where they're like, we just dropped a fucking world-changing weapon just to see what happens?
We're bored. Places nuclear device somewhere in the stolen place.
What's a Death Note?
Ba-ba-da-da-da. Sorry, that's like my favorite anime of all time. I'll always go into it. Near as I can tell, it's not so much of a weapon, so much as in the sense of one, like, again, myself or my studious colleague here, pointing at Elric. Eventually, though I regret I'm not quite that powerful, eventually we could snap our fingers and call meteors from the vastness of outer space down to slam into our foes. You, young Master Druid, certainly. He eyes you up and down. You're young, but given time and trial and error, perhaps you too will call the entire forest not necessarily a weapon so much as it's almost a powerful force of nature. How it got here, well, let's just say there have been many to come through these stolen lands over the course of history. I myself am not entirely sure. It could be perhaps the dwarves.
Wait. Call down a meteor?
Yes, it's literally a spell.
You think kind of like, and I'll point up to the new star? Kind of like that.
Oh, no. If I'm honest, I'm kind of surprised my colleagues haven't figured that one out. Near as I can tell, that seems to be... The meteor is... I presume Ergothoa. I don't... The rumors speculate it only shows up once every age or so. I believe it came directly from... And he flips his notebook, points to a drawing of black sky and then like a Majora's Mask-esque face just jammed up in the night sky rocketing towards Golarion. I believe from the negative energy plane itself, and though its magics are surreptitious, shall we say, they are powerful. So powerful that I believe that is A, why the Whispering Way has come here, B, why the dead are spontaneously animating. Let's just say it's probably not the best time in the world to die right now.
It's a good time to die, but...
Now,
This explains things.
So, just to make sure I am on the same page now. So, this thing that the orcs are after is not a weapon, necessarily, but regardless, the orcs are going to treat it as one. And not only now do we have to stop War Drummer from abusing it, we also have to handle the situation with the undead.
Precisely. It's as if I believe you could use it as a weapon if you were powerful enough, but it's more like to handle fire with your bare hands. You're just going to get burned. He looks down at his legs as he realizes he said something really awkward. I suppose a little Growlow's humor has done me good in my time.
So would it be possible if we... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut. Go ahead.
So, Attila would like to ask Thumb if he could not explain this to the council and perhaps even to the orcs and convince them to not do this.
And what was Devin going to say?
I want to ask him, so is there a way to properly harness this, if not just one of us, thinking like if we can split it across like the Phoenix Force or how they did in Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's like seven of us, one ancient undead artifact. We can sort of pass it around in hot potato and get it to work, and none of us.
Well, to answer the first question, the council is... Okay. He kind of like looks around feebly to make sure that there's no one but all of the armed forces of Ortholt watching over him. To put it frankly, I am powerful, but I am not that many orcs powerful, at least not anymore. We were lucky this time that the assembled crew was, well, peaceful when they arrived and willing to freely surrender their arms. If they wanted to roll us over, they could. We'd make them hurt for it, but I believe we'd lose. The council's formal stance, and please, all of you will forgive the formal showmanship, I shall say, I suppose. The council's formal stance on the matters of what we're calling Ergothoa's comment and the Gorham weapon. I don't. The thing that hurt me is that we're going to try to stay as far away from it as possible. Yes, of course, we'd be happy. We won't lend, certainly, our young sons and daughters to ride out on Gorthek back and die. But we can spare some weapons, we can spare some provisions. We kill, proverbially, to pardon the pun, 2 rocks with 1 stone. The orc tribes ride out, they try to harness fire, they are burned for it. An aggressive neighbor to our north is dealt with.
What happens when the orcs do manage to find some way to harness this?
Which brings me to the second question. I don't really think they can, at least not one of them, and not so many, forgive me, discordant, impudent louts running around waving axes and screaming for blood. They lack the nuance. They lack the discipline. They lack the brain power, dare I say. Perhaps the war drummer, perhaps any of their shamans, perhaps their various brain-powered boys and girls could figure it out, but I don't believe they will try that. I think rather this chosen one of Gorham will try to take the power for himself, and then, well, he'll get a new set of legs at the very least. To answer your question, young, you look like a member of the Dubois family, yes?
Indeed, I'm so glad someone finally notices and sees how important my lineage is. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course, and you, obviously, one of the Van Amar boys.
Indeed, yes.
And a member of the Ladies' Watch points at Sven, and you by that firearm, I assume somewhere from much farther south. There were a couple. The Ladies' Watch, unfortunately, there were some of you on my expedition. You think I was close to the ley line. You should have seen what came out of theirs. It was most disturbing. In any case, if 7 people could handle it, 8 people, 12 people, 24, perhaps, I don't think they to put it one way, they lack discipline. You understand, yes?
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what I was saying before the council.
Seems like
we know what you mean. We see this every day, and he glances at Devon.
There's a bit of a laugh there. Officially speaking, Ortholt and the council will back whatever orc flies, whatever banner from Glenibon, and that'll be just fine. Unofficially speaking, Ortholt, myself, we shall back the 7 of you. I'm not sure exactly what help we can offer, but so long as it stays under the proverbial table, we should be able to figure out something, yes?
Atia would like to come and kneel forward in front of Ortholt and just say, even though your body is, even though you are not whole, your mind and your wisdom have guided generations of our people, who have been a guardian to us. You were the one who had convinced us to go and seek out the aid of outsiders, something we have not done for a very long time. You are suggesting that we allow some of my brothers and sisters to go on this foolhardy expedition to tamper with something that you have said yourself no one is capable of building.
No, dear boy. I simply suggest we give our assembled friends from the north some arrows, perhaps maybe some provisions. If they pester us really hard, maybe I'll cast a spell or 2. They ride out. The problem deals with itself. I shouldn't get ahead of myself. The council and I will not allow any Iruxi sons and daughters to die needlessly. Perish the thought. You understand, yes?
I must be honest, I am concerned about one other thing.
Yes, please.
They don't know how to wield it. If they tamper with it, they could still cause problems, no?
Theoretically, I very much doubt they can figure out how to wield something of that level of power. Suppose if I'm wrong, it could spell the gloom and doom of us all, but what can I say? There's a lich trapped in a tower that we're just waiting for him to wake up, and hopefully him and his disciples don't figure out some way to expedite that, to say nothing of the various other terror. For the love of all the gods, there's a being of utter chaos and destruction imprisoned in the core of this planet. There are enough anxiety-inducing things on Galarian. I'm not going to lose sleep over some petulant orc tribes.
Wait, so the weapon they're seeking is a lich?
No, dear girl. I refer to Tarbaphon. You know, that lich who has a agent of cultists known as the Whispering Way, for whom we have sworn to eternally fight against, yes?
Yes,
Indeed.
I'm sorry, your mention of the tower giving me flashbacks to the undead at the old dwarven tower.
An old dwarven tower, you say? Tell me more about that.
That's where we suspect the weapon to be located.
There was some ghosts guarding it that believed I knew where it would be because I was a dwarf. And we found some other dwarfs when we first came here who were looking for some sort of dwarven artifact. We believe they are one and the same. Well, I do.
That certainly would track, and, well, your people have come a long way from hearing the sound of hammer to forge and thinking it was a divine sign to pop out of holes in the ground, as it were. Certainly, if I was as wise as the ancient dwarven kings and queens of the day, I too would build my towers in the citadels at the convergence of a ley line. Perhaps there's more there you could find. I digress. I'm sorry. And he turns towards Vin. You looks you up and down. A local boy, yes? Yes, local boy? Was there something you were saying?
And for my
I is
Um,
calling him this.
Well, he identifies as male, clearly, and probably is from these lands, yes?
and I think I'm one of the youngest members of this party in terms of species development.
I believe, as the younger ones say, got him. He laughs, coughs up a bunch of blood.
Technically, now that we've moved, you, Yahtzee, are now the local boy. So I now deem you local boy of Yahtzeehood.
Seconded! Why, yes! Indeed. The wisdom of the Dubois family.
Eel. Eel.
Yahtzee.
So you're saying something about wisdom?
Yes, indeed. If I was the dwarven engineers, artificers, clerics, war priests, and various other members of magical traditions of the day, certainly I would build things I wanted to protect where I could access greater magic. But we digress. Young druid, you had a question for me, a concern.
I'm just concerned that the orcs will raid my hometown,
And where is that?
Timberfall, roughly east of here.
Yes. I believe I know the one on the Skunk River. Was it little trading hamlet?
It's grown up been since then, but you know of it?
I mean, there's
It's
not
not
a
been
lot
around
of
for
places
long.
one passes through. It's been a while. Well, if I were to take you back home, we could use my mirror and we could scry things. I don't get around much. You understand? He goes to pat his leg, then realizes how excruciatingly painful that action is, and then stops after wincing.
You can scry things?
I can. Occasionally, I send an arcane entity to fly out, or... Now, where in the devil is... Tarbaphon? And snap. A little raven appears out of invisibility, lands on his, withered old bicep, and just kind of, cocks its head, looks over at the withered one. Sometimes I look through the eyes of this little bastard here, scritches the raven on the back of the head. It caws happily.
What I would give to be able to use scrying to find my mother, my father.
I just
Well,
love how
Eileen.
you say that with the friendly say. Oh, this little bastard right here.
Oh, why yes, this little bastard.
This little shit right here.
This degenerate asshole, isn't that right? And the raven
Wants to do whenever Tony wants to do some wizened old man, he inevitably falls into some Irish-Scottish mix.
A little bit, yes.
It's beautiful. What I would give to be able to scry my father right now and give him a piece of my mind.
Can you... Perhaps when this conversation adjourns, we can return to my... I'm sorry, my home isn't the prettiest these days, but we could go there. I could maybe help you find him.
I'm used to sleeping outside. I can assure you any home is fine by me. And perhaps... I don't know. And I have a whole basket list of people I need to talk to. So, I don't want to bother you too much. I've already been too kind taking so much time.
Fair enough. Well, if that's what you'd like, please do not hesitate to ask. My manor house in Caliphus, I assume they presume I'm dead, and it's passed on to my next of kin. We've just fallen a long way, you understand.
If you want to, we can try and get word of you being alive back to your family.
Oh, no. It's been... Let's just say the things that keep me alive aren't... I'm still in Pharasma's good graces, I think. Maybe. Possibly. I'd rather not push it.
Do you use...
something that would upset her?
No, more so let's just say my time probably came when I stepped on a ley line that was converging with a different plane and it almost oped me out. I've used a little bit of magic to... They have a similar formula. In my younger days, there was an expedition to Thuvia. I've never seen a Sun Orchid elixir, much less had the money to pay for one, but I can put together things. The formula is... all formula are at their root, it's a simple-ish thing. Merely extended my life with the herbs in Ortholt, that's all. In any case, I'm sure anyone that survives me either A, doesn't remember me, B, thinks I'm some crazy old coot, or C, all of the above. Probably just better that, well, we let them move on. Also, I had some gambling debts that I'd rather not pay off.
Tommy, question out of character. Would it be story breaking, or are we like even on the level if Emmy and I did team up to fight Snaggletooth?
You could try it.
Okay.
It's one of those, like, I guess to put it one way, he's a higher level than Squad. But as far as the debate went, he just consistently rolled 15 or better.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask before he, the Withered One, before he left, if he could give us any spells or hints or like magical powder to sniff to increase our potency before the fight tomorrow morning.
Ah, yes, magical cocaine, of course. We have that in great excess. It's how I've extended my life. Come quickly, anyway.
If you really want to use that sort of stuff, you probably ask the shamans for some mushrooms.
Do you want some lizard drugs? They've got great shit out here.
The best lizard drugs.
I also don't want to have to pay back my dealer. It's a whole thing.
Not ask Brother Deidre, though, for his. I once accidentally got into his when I was younger. It was a very bad time.
Or very good perspective is important, my young friend.
There was one time Lively was smoking something that was not tobacco. It smelled different, and she gave some to me, and it made me feel really calm.
Ah,
Hungry.
Interesting. This lively individual, you talk about her with a sense of... You must really care for her.
It's just just looks to the side and mutters, God damn it. Lively is my teacher. She's the one that's taught me in the Druidic ways. She's an elf that lives in this area.
I see.
Everyone seems so fascinated by Vin's relationship with his mentor.
Because it's become a whole meme at this point.
It's become a meme.
Yeah, he's in love with her. And
he's in love. That's... Oh, my. That's what... Would you like me to scry her? Certainly, I could find her.
Oh, wait, yes, love. I know what that is.
You know what love is. Christ alive, boy.
I am several years old.
Vin is very clearly uncomfortable with this idea and very bright red-faced.
Well, in any case, as far as our war chanter goes, the pair of you, certainly you have a bit of an edge on him now, given that you have your magics. I suppose it comes down to more how you want to go about it. Certainly, if you'd like to go fight an angry... Forgive me, the tribal structure of the region mostly escapes me. I have to assume what would happen is, A, you defeat him, and his son, daughter, lover, or some other combination of the three rises up to replace him with a vendetta to kill you. B, he kills you both dead, and what happens with that happens with that. Or maybe it sparks some kind of... I'm given to understand, based on what I picked up from them, that the tribes are... Well, essentially what's happened is, if you consider this super weapon, consider this powerful thing of Gorham It's like an apple, and you throw it in the middle of a bunch of starving children, the orc tribes. They're all going to want a piece of it, their own piece, the biggest piece. You understand? It's chaos.
You say the starving children analogy with concern.
The more you speak of it like that, the more and more I feel convinced that you should at least try to tell them not to go after it.
I mean, again, the only reason we didn't get bowled over by a bunch of angry 7-foot-tall humanoids on much bigger, what even is a Gorthek, a bison, lion, monstrosity, is because they wanted to parley with us.
They're very cute and fluffily.
If you say so, local boy. In any case, if they were to come here with lances couched charging, they'd bowl us over. I'm very much hoping that they all just go wipe themselves out, and my friends here are not in danger. Unless all of you want to go solve whatever dispute is happening in the north of here.
I'm more concerned with the undead, but
Yeah, not yet.
here's the thing. A ape may not know how to stoke a fire, but is still perfectly capable of burning down a forest if it starts playing with the matches. The forest in the monkey in this case is the orcs, and the fire in this case is whatever this artifact is. Forest is, well,
Creation at large?
everything. Yes. I mean, did we not stop monkey?
Make a diplomacy check.
All I'm saying
I
is,
can only promise to try.
That's all we need.
I have not been on a great track so far.
look, as far as I can say, the last time a Jemerson was involved in a orc tribe blood feud, they killed the chieftain, took control of the tribe, and then married the chieftain's son.
Exactly. So now we have the perfect opportunity to marry Emmy off, or marry Penny off, and you don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to worry with anyone else. And then we can use Penny and get her to be the queen of the orcs, and then we can use her orc army to help us kill the undead.
I mean, that's not the worst idea I've ever heard, if I'm honest with you.
Was the queen of the
Well, I thought we were going to marry you off.
We're all apparently getting married. We're having 7 weddings. And then a funeral for all of creation, perhaps? I don't know. In any case, I think it may be better, rather than speaking. I can try to talk to the elders. There's just a lot of concern. There are a lot of very big, very angry beasties running around Ortholt right now. And I don't just mean he looks towards, like, the 7 of you. Certainly, we'd rather let them get a little farther away before we just stop talking to them and hope they leave us alone. That said, if you feel you can distract them, or otherwise send them somewhere far, far away from here, or dissuade them, please feel free.
If you honestly think it would be wiser just to let them go on their snipe hunt, then Atu will abide by that.
Well, aren't they going hunting in the same place that we are, though? Because they're headed towards the big weapon thing, and we're headed towards the Dwarf Tower. Aren't those the same place?
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, we're there one to go. We're about to go anyway.
You just have to beat them there.
I totally did not pick that up. I apologize.
No worries. So there are a lot less of us, so we could probably get there faster if we headed out now. Or we can do the whole thing and try to kill them in the morning. I'm more along the lines of saying run while the getting's good. Do I think me and Emmy could probably kill this dude? Probably, but I don't want to risk it unless I have.
That's certainly reasonable.
You know, you did announce a duel in front of the entire council.
Well,
End up
fantastic.
chickening
They'll
out.
all be here. No, see, we can run. We can get the fuck out of now, and we'll have like a whole day's head start because they'll be like, oh.
Additionally, he'd have a great cover story for why exactly the Council of Ortholt does not want to support the Esoteric Order. I mean, whether or not he announced something before the Council of Ortholt, it's not like he wanted to duel you or the Council.
What I am suggesting is that if he runs away, that would look really bad for your group.
Not necessarily. Again, let me be clear, we are only supporting the orc tribes so they don't kill us. It'll make us look... Frankly, it'll make a bunch of humanoids who are not 7 foot tall, various shades of green and brown and covered in the blood of their enemies look bad in the presence of people who, well, you already looked bad in the eyes of. Anyway, though I suppose your dear sister, he kind of trails off. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, of course.
She basically raised me. My mom and her. And just once again returns to the fact that he's the baby of the family.
Yeah, he's squeaking over there.
He's a squeaky little baby.
It's in my. This is the moist noise.
I've never
Sorry.
heard a human make that noise.
The local boy is broken. Oh shit.
It's obviously baby speech.
It's the it's the noise suppression being kind of weird.
Gotcha.
All I was saying was, don't talk shit about my sister.
I'm not talking shit, my friend. Merely just asserting the fact that, well, maybe they take out their aggression on her, or her partner, or her partner's tribe, or whatever they can get their hands on. In any case, I digress. However you choose to solve it, it shouldn't be that hard to surreptitiously fly in a bunch of weapons and anything you might have had to leave behind on the outskirts here. And he withdraws despite the fact that, like, everything else he's pulled out of obscurity has been just kind of like random. Actually, no, he flips to the back page of his notes and tears out the final page, passes it over to Elric. Just, I believe, not quite as powerful as some of the other Van Amars I've heard of, but I think you can figure this out. This should, for good or ill, expedite your travels once, well, you decide what you're going to do. Here, and one for the spellbook. I would be remiss. Rip passes a second one.
Thank you.
Say that the torn. Oh, sorry. Shut up, Ross.
Just forget what's on the pages.
2 scrolls of teleport. 1 for the spellbook and 1 for the party.
Ooh, I love that.
Oh. We have to go now. I would like to spend the night home.
Also, whom did we lose? Did someone
Devin.
leave? Okay.
There he is.
And he's back.
Also, because Eric is really curious about us, he's gonna activate his supernatural ability of Arcane Sight and spend an action to look at this withering one. And my ability tells me his power by telling me basically his highest level spell slot as a spellcaster.
Highest level spell slot we'll say is he would need to cast anti-magic field, so level 6.
Okay.
I would like to study target him to know his HP.
Okay, he has
That was a joke. No.
probably like a con of 6 and 12 d6 hit die. Not a lot.
Oh man, you should have done that at the start. Would have been hilarious if Tommy would have needed to update you every time he like coughed out blood. It's like this one just dropped by 1.
Ah, son of a bitch, my con is down by 1d4. I must inform the Slayer.
Guys making fortitude saves like every minute that we're speaking to him.
Withered One, before we head on out, we're going there. Big, scary, evil, fucking out of this world weapon, not weapon thing. How are we supposed to harness this and make sure that the orcs don't get it? Because I feel like we're going to touch it and then I'm going to get fucking shot to the butthole dimension and be trapped there my whole life.
Ah, yes, the butthole dimension is the worst place, objectively speaking, anyone can go. Hi.
You seem pretty fluent in assholery.
In any case, there's
That is what the humans call a sick burn.
the sickest of burns, worse than the burns on my legs.
Oh my god.
In any case, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how to harness it or even if it should be harnessed. If I'm honest with you, I'm not much one for erasing things from the annals of history, but if we could do that, that might be ideal. Because, I mean, wipe one orc tribe off the face of the earth, what's next? Some other intrepid and dashing young wizard of the esoteric order might try to find the thing for himself and then fuck up real bad, and, well, here we are.
I got gunpowder. We can
Or-
blow it up
Or
if we
you know,
need to.
my
Perhaps don't put gunpowder on the ley line convergence, you fool! What? Are you serious?
That's what my people did and made it a dead magic zone, I think. I don't know. They put a whole bunch of gunpowder in magic, and now where I'm from is a dead magic zone.
Do you mean the mana wastes?
Well, I live near them. I live in the city. are sitting next to him. So
Now, my friend, the mana wastes are a dead magic zone because on the one hand you have a very, very powerful Arc Lord, on the other hand you have a Necromancer. They ward so much that the amount of magic thrown back and forth between Nex and Geb literally just fucked up that entire region. That's why they turn to firearms. They can't figure out how magic missile works there anymore. They must then resort to mundane missile. It's a whole thing.
God,
All of this nonsense, all of this hubbub, this is exactly like why my people do not trust arcane magic.
I mean, he's not technically wrong.
trust gun magic.
This is not Final Fantasy. There are no gun mages.
Not that either.
In any case,
Withered one, yeah. So how do we get rid of it?
I mean, if I'm honest with you, if I knew, I would probably just find the strength to go there and do it myself. I have no idea. I have a vague idea of what it is.
The whole blowing it up thing is starting to sound pretty good to me. I'm with you, buddy.
All right, fine. If you want to send us all to the butthole dimension on Gunpowder Express.
Or we could just make sure no one else can get to it.
Are you gonna stand there for the next forever to make sure and kill every
No,
orc? And
we cave it in. If we find it, we cave in the entrance, seal it off.
Let-
Ah, yes, and then someone used magics to move the earth.
Hey, we don't hear you coming up with any solutions.
yeah, Ragnarok's like the best idea so far.
I suppose I can't technically argue with that.
Back talk to the Wither one. Need to give myself lashings now afterwards.
Now. In any case, whatever you decide to do, it shouldn't be much longer. Almost as if on cue, a couple of like big ol' pteranodon things come flying down. They flip and turn into a Ruxi. They hand the party back their gear. You'll forgive me if I ask some folks to expedite things. You understand. In any case, if there are any final questions you might ask, I'm sure you have about 1 billion. I haven't been feeling the best. As if on cue, more blood and gross comes out.
Surely you don't mean for us to leave right now. I mean,
Yes, right now.
Not necessarily right now. Perhaps tomorrow, perhaps in a couple of days. Certainly, teleporting directly to wherever it is you're going to go will put you days in front of the Horde. That's the point. Whether it is that you decide to have, well, our endeavored and intrepid debater and her chosen one friend go assassinate an orc chief, or however it is you want to go about things, that's up to you. The council and I will spin it in such a way that all of Ortholt won't descend upon you.
How do you feel, Penny? You want to go kill an orc lord?
Suppose she does look like a copper piece, doesn't she?
She does, and she's lucky most of the time.
Not today, unfortunately. So close.
no.
Well, at least I was lucky enough to keep you from being split into two like our friend over here.
Hey now. I wasn't split into two, more so my atoms were rearranged at a very molecular blah, blah, blah. He coughs up more as he stutters. Gee, thank you, Druid, for understanding science. I digress.
So yeah, Penny, what do you want to do? I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be like a fun little hijinks, you know. It could be fun, or we can just keep going. Up to you. I'm down for.
Well, I think it would be best if he did not die in Ortholt. That could give the orc tribes reason to
Go crazy and kill everyone?
exactly
Okay, fair point.
give them time to travel out. And since you said that we were supposed to fight first thing in the morning,
I mean, if we don't want to engage them in Orfall, then I think we can teleport tonight. They'll be like, "Oh, where the fuck are they?" We will have like almost a week's head start because they're going to wait around for a day, and then we'll already be days ahead of them. Get everything all done and head back to Timberfall, or we can like set up a trap because we'll probably have like a day and a half. And like, oh, they're coming this way, and we can set up like coconuts to fall on their head or whatever the hell else is in these woods. Oh, we can get the pet hodag. We can get him eaten by a pet hodag. There we go.
No, I think the classic swamp coconut strat is the best thing I've ever heard all night. Drop coconuts on the head of a 7-foot-tall, 300-pound monstrosity of a man. Certainly he'll explode and die. Use your gunpowder. Send him to the Shadow Realm.
There's snakes inside the coconuts.
God damn it. The classic snake coconut. Yes, it's a brilliant tactic.
I just
That
like to...
will happen in game mechanically somehow. We will use snakes and coconuts on
Put a
barrels
snake
at
in the
some point.
coconut and throw it at his face. You
Put a snake in a coconut and drink it all together. Yes, it's a classic Aruxi song. In any case, all of you can figure out what it is you want to do in the coming weeks. I think that is where we're going to end this session. Thank you all so much for your support and hanging out, and I'm sorry that Emmy lost her second debate. Can't beat all the nerd bros with facts, I suppose, but be sure to like and subscribe for more Kingmaker, but I'm stuck in this voice forever. I hope you all had a good time. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
What?